Hi, I'm Nick McLaughlin, your friendly neighborhood ADHD coach with ADHD. Today, I just wanted to talk about the four biggest struggles I see with kids with ADHD in school and how you can solve them really quickly. So there's been a few things I've seen with kids in school that have ADHD, and they tend to go through a really hard time. I was diagnosed when I was 6, so I have personal experience that I'd also like to share that you might find helpful. And I'm basically going to be giving you tips from my personal experience as a coach and as someone with ADHD, having gone through a lot of these issues, if not all of these issues. Issue number one is judgment on homework. When I've had the amazing opportunity to talk to my kid clients, I'll say, what's the problem with the homework? And they say, it's because I don't turn it in. And it just blows my mind because I asked them why, and they'll say, I did my homework, but I felt afraid of giving my homework to my teacher. And that hits home for me. I just know the pain of being a kid with ADHD, and I've seen this in so many of my kid clients, and they should feel like at least the teacher would be someone safe to talk to. But my personal experience, I've had teachers that have been the reason I felt bullied because a lot of times teachers don't understand how to communicate with kids with ADHD or how to help them in ways that they actually need. But it's really dependent on the person because a lot of teachers I know are absolutely incredible. They're the most caring people I've ever met. But a lot of times teachers don't know what to do, or they just don't think about it. They don't acknowledge how different ADHD really is, especially in a lot of other countries. So what happens is the kid usually is afraid to turn in their homework because they're afraid of being judged and they don't want to guilt trip themselves. They already see themselves as different or that there's something wrong with them, and it can be very difficult for them. So one thing I've done to help with this is I took the focus away from having to hand in homework to someone and made it more about a habit. That's about personal responsibility instead of feeling like if you don't turn in your homework to someone or if you turn it in and it's not good enough for that person, then they're going to be judged. So I completely take that out. And what we do is I say, great, well, how about from now on, every time you go to class, the very first thing you do the moment you sit down, you just put your homework on your desk. That way, your teacher can pick it right up and you don't have to feel anxious about handing it to them. Kids with ADHD are actually extremely bright, but they're afraid of guilt tripping themselves and how they're going to see themselves, how the world's going to see them. So this is a really great way to just train your kid to see themselves in a more positive light and just for them to be a leader and to be excited about building habits. And it takes off all the pressure of having to look someone in the eyes and turn in your homework. And it's scary, okay? Teachers are already like 2 or 3 times your size when you're that young. So it's a lot less scary to just put it on your desk and let them just pick it right up. Reason number two is mind wandering. For me, I was going through a hard time with my ADHD and I was also struggling with depression. So I would sit in the back of class. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to really exist in that moment. You just kind of want to exist later throughout the day and not exist in some parts of the day. I don't know how to explain it. That's just me. Almost like you could just magically poof and then poof back. If your kid has ADHD and is socially anxious, which not all kids with ADHD are, but if they are, they probably just don't want to be looked at. Eye contact can be scary. So a good thing you can try that helped with me was putting your kid at the front of the class, but let them pick which seat if you can. So give them an example like, okay, so there's 5 seats in the front. Which seat would you like? Sitting in the front will help because then they're closer to the teacher. The teacher can see them a lot easier and make sure that they're okay. The kid can hear better. And if possible, if the teacher can change up their teaching style a little more to accommodate for the kids using visual aids, examples, changing up their tone, and having eye contact every once in a while, that can help majorly. It can also help, funny enough, to let your kid have a fidget device as long as it's not loud or distracting to other kids. There are fidget devices like these that are more textural. Then there's ones like these that are more nice. I mean, it just feels like my mind is a little distracted. The reason it's a good thing to have your kids somewhat distracted is because having ADHD doesn't actually mean you have a deficit of attention, but that you have too much of it. If you have something to focus on aside from your beehive of billions and billions of thoughts, especially as a kid, you're dividing some of it here so that you can focus on what someone's saying. So if you're in a relationship with someone with ADHD and they're fidgeting, they're listening. most likely. Number three is being different in class. A lot of people in general with ADHD, especially kids, might have already convinced themselves that they're less than the person next to them. Even though they may look like everyone else, they feel like they don't really belong. And at a young age, they are already training themselves to have low self-esteem. I have a friend who actually has a child with ADHD in class, and they actually work best with headphones on. Not when the teacher is teaching something, but when they're working on something. But the kid didn't want to put on the headphones because he didn't want to stand out and feel even more different from the rest of the class. So what the teacher did was brilliant. And what she did was make sure everyone brought their headphones from home, or she supplied headphones to all the kids so that everybody was wearing headphones. So this was a really great way that I think teachers can learn from to really support their kids with ADHD to fit in with everybody else. Because at the end of the day, that's all someone with ADHD really wants. It's just to fit in, just be normal, just be seen the same as everybody else. And number four is organizational issues. Every kid I've coached has had a big struggle with folders all over the place. They forget things in their backpack or at school or at home. Things are crumpled up. There's like an old sandwich in there from 5 months ago. If it's McDonald's, it's still fine. No, I'm just kidding. No, but the McDonald's burger is probably still the same as when you bought it. Just don't let them eat it. So help them by color coordinating things, making folders with different colors, making checklists, and just giving them organizational tools, and give them little steps to help them in their school day with their desk being a little cleaner, more organized, and just at a little bit at a time, not so much that it's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming looking at an enormous mess and just thinking, where do I even start? So instead of just saying, hey, go clean your desk or go clean your backpack, go clean this and that, start with something specific and have them do that. Even if it's just that little thing today, and then tomorrow they can try something else. So even if you did tell them, go clean your entire desk, it would be a lot easier and better for them to do it in little pieces, because then they would feel accomplished, especially if you do it consistently every day, because then you're building up a habit of consistency. You're building up their self-esteem of feeling like they can finish things, and they're learning along the way how they work best. Another thing that's really important is to like and subscribe. I would also say, no, but seriously, how to fit it in. If you have a kid with ADHD, I'd love to hear your journey below as a parent, or how your kid is doing in school, or if you relate at all to any of this. Thanks for watching.